Hi guys, welcome back to the Funky Evolution Party. I hope by now you're starting to see the bigger picture and how we have been so messed up that we're like, malfunction, malfunction, malfunction. And it's time to really start flipping the coin, i.e., am I using my heads or am I using my tails? And starting to see where we need to flip everything back into the right way in order for us to become stronger, healthier, smarter individuals. And then individually, collectively, we can potentially start paving the way for future generations to not make the same mistakes that we have in the past. Now, my mad announcement, I found this hysterical. According to the astrology, and again, why I'm going to go into astrology a bit further and bring back this book. But in the 1800s, up until the early 1900s, women were treated for hysteria with sex toys. Believe it or not, prior to the 1800s, they had no idea that women could actually experience pleasure outside of penetration. Now, if that was only 100 years ago, can you imagine throughout the span of however many thousands of years that civilizations have been getting it on, that we've only just discovered that pleasure and pleasure seeking is something that we do. Now, I want to put a question out there for you guys, because sex and sexuality has been the biggest trigger, and I would like to say menace to society, because of the way we are uneducated, number one, and number two, looking for that outside gratification from others. Now, when we're looking at things like self-respect and self-love, it starts within you, and you need to accept you before anybody else can accept you. But what's currently going on is we've all got our tits out and it's just thrown and shoved down your throat. You need to look this way, and that is not the essence of sex and sexuality. Okay, fine, there is the side of needing to feel beautiful, sure. Individually, it's up to us to understand that it comes from inside of you, and that light comes from within. And then, i.e., what I like to say is, if you have self-respect when you go pleasure seeking, it's always going to remain at that level. But if you go into pleasure seeking without it, you're bound to lose your self-respect, and then shame, alienation, guilt, all of these things start to pile up until we're so scared of everything that we freak out and we don't know how to then get back on track. Again, looking at little old ladies who have lost their partners, and because of cultures, they don't get remarried, or they don't have the ability to feel good or get into that union between themselves and what was given to us as pleasure. And that is not to, I'm not saying let's all go out there and just get it on, because I think I spoke to you guys earlier in my Let's Be Mates video about the DNA exchanges, about the energy exchanges, and what I like to say, the STD could be a spiritually transmitted disease, or it could be a person. So according to me, my father of my children is like HIV. There's no cure for bad partners, and because of the way we've used sex to control and dominate one another, what's actually happened is that there is the breakdown of families. There is the breakdown of children are growing up really messed up, and then don't even understand sex and sexuality, so they are getting into deviant games, and then you have the industry pushing it down your throat that you have to be this, and this to be sexy, and that's not entirely true. We really need to take a step back again, breaking the taboo, the tab and then the boo, stop pissing on my parade, because that's exactly what's happened for the last millennium, is that women in their entirety and their rights, along with men who have been emasculated, now are so far apart that they think that the only way to get that gratification from someone else is by having a fast car, or, I feel better now that someone actually wants me. That's not how we were designed to be. You need to understand who you are, i.e., understand yourself and respect yourself before you can expect others to respect you. Now, I'm not saying let's all go back to the veils and the coverings and all of that. I completely understand where that concept's come from, because I can tell you, when I was in Jakarta, yeah, sure, I was in like a little skirt, and then the woman next to me was fully covered, and although her and her partner were madly in love with each other, he couldn't help but check me out. It's just how it goes. We are that way inclined, but it doesn't mean it always has to be on display, and we need to learn to pack it away. Now, I've really liked this idea that Pluto is coming back in terms of reliving our sex and sexualities, but maybe about how we can take that internally rather than keep projecting that onto others. Again, my book, because when you speak about the Shekinah, she may appear. Within 2 days of making that video, there she was, Shakira, talking about a girl like her, which is, if you were to imagine the daughter of God energy, and she manifests through us all, because if you have Jesus in your heart, you have Shekinah in your heart, and it's about understanding the balance and the dynamics of the two. See if I can quickly find this for you guys. But basically, now is in the manner that I open the high conference respect to the mystery of Shekinah, which is the mystery of man and God, of man in the likeliness of the gods, of the relation between things above and things below, of intercourse, of union upon earth, performed in the spirit of celestial union, and the transmutation of one by the other from the work of God in the world. Immediately, the tradition is the law of the Kabbalah appears to agree with our deduction from the grooved wall sites of the British Isles, and the lights of Venus was directly connected with sexual intercourse, birthing and resurrection, linking heaven to earth. Now, this is really important because those star alliances I kept talking about with the Venus and all of that, and the Star of Bethlehem and Newgrange, which is where I discovered in this book, on the 21st of December, I think it's Saturn and Jupiter are going to be the closest they've been in like 800 years, and this is all in 460-year cycles. So it all links in together, and I'll post a link when they put on that we'll be able to watch the live link of when the light shines into the temple. And it's very important that we understand that sex and sexuality was a spiritual practice, but because of the way it's all been taken out of history, or they don't need to know that, or we shouldn't tell them that, oh, we can't control them if we let them know that, oh, that wouldn't work out for us, the powers that be. So we really need to start breaking down these misconceptions, i.e., in respect of all other lights of creation is that which soul is to body, through in relation to the Holy One, she is the body to the soul, notwithstanding that she and God are one. She is the mistress of the celestial school called the abode of the shepherds, and this is a school of Metatron, understood as a vesture of or form assumed by Shekinah. So again, it's the masculine and the feminine. It's about the union from within before we take that union out to others. It's about understanding sex and sexuality, i.e., I spoke about our biology, and whether you're a pigeon or whether you're a penguin or whether you're this or whether you're that, it's okay to be promiscuous, just know how to be promiscuous, i.e. you don't need to throw yourself onto every Tom, Dick and Harry or vice versa. we can actually, you know, I like to be promiscuous with my information. So I'll take a bit from here and a bit from there and a bit from here. And you can actually exercise things like your sex and sexuality without actually having sex with everything and everyone and then being like, ah, what have I done? Get named, branded, shamed, popped in a box, and there you are for the rest of your life. You're 60 and you haven't had sex for 30 years. I don't believe that is what God intended for us all. I believe sex and sexuality is something that we all need to start bringing to the table, but with a bit more education and understanding that it's not about the way it's portrayed and then this expectation that we need to look like that or fit into this box. It's about us. It's about understanding our own bodies. It's about curing our own hysteria. And then how we progress as a society, teaching the future generations that your body is the temple. And in order for you to really seek pure pleasure, you need to understand that pure pleasure within. You're not going to find it anywhere else. So I hope this helps. Please like, share, and get the message out there.